yeah. We gon' take a field trip, hit this gas, we off this planet. Good weed, I can feel it. Talk that boss shit, can you handle it? Where you tryna be? We gon' take you, just tune in and see. Bring some to the table, can't nobody smoke for free. Tell me taking over, don't get too high, keep composure. We want all the smoke, you know this. Yeah, yeah.
What's up, guys? It's Jordan, and welcome to another episode of Field Trip. As always on our trip, got my girl Tammy,
AKA the Cannabis Cutie, bringing all the education and facts that you need.
and the new face, but to become familiar face, Stephanie.
What's up? I'm Stephanie and Cakes, bringing the heat from the streets.
Today's episode is sponsored by Superbad Inc., and as a special treat, we actually have the owner and creator of Superbad Inc., Carlos. And another great guest, virtually tuning in, are the Pop Brothers at Law.
Hey, what's going
Welcome,
on?
guys.
Man, that was very
Oh my
interesting.
goodness, that was a treat. Well, where do we want to get our field trip started, guys?
Man, take me to SpaceX.
SpaceX? Like one of the spaceship launches?
Elon.
Just like Elon's.
Yeah.
Just
All
like
right,
that.
guys, we're going to
You
SpaceX.
guys ready?
Yeah, yeah. We gon' take a field trip, hit this gas, we off this planet. Good weed, I can feel it. Talk that
And we're here.
Where you tryna be?
Hello.
We're here.
Well, welcome on today, guys. Like I mentioned, we're smoking super bad today, so we should probably start to get rolling here. But before we get too far into it, we always have our special treat. It's one of my favorite parts, to be honest. Our field trip dinosaur. Oh!
We gon' take a field trip, hit this gas, we off this planet.
All right. Well, as we're rolling up some super bad ink flour,
Correct.
you want to give us a little breakdown on it? I grabbed, what did we grab?
Super B.
Super
Yeah.
B.
So, that's wedding cake.
Okay.
I like wedding cake. Wedding cake is pretty good. I think it's a pretty good strand. Right here, we got the pre-rolls, which, you know, that's Garanimals. That's like my favorite. And then you got Super Critical, which is another great one. So y'all have a ball, enjoy yourself, and tell me what y'all think throughout the show.
Well, as I suppose another good thing while we're rolling it up, we can actually trip to your facility. I'd love to hear a little bit more about your facility, but more importantly, I'd love to jump there.
Well, let's jump there.
Let's do it.
Yeah, yeah. We gon' take a field trip, hit this gas, we off this planet. Good weed, I can feel it. Talk that boss shit, can you handle it? Where you tryna be? We gon' take you, just tune in and see. Bring some to the table.
And we're here.
Cool.
Guys, we're in the grow right now.
Well, where is this place located?
Yeah.
Where did we fly to?
So right now you flew to Needles, California.
Oh,
We're
wow.
in
not
Needles,
too far.
California.
Okay.
So the grow is, as you see, is one of the largest grows in California. It's humongous.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
How many lights?
How many square feet? And
we
yeah,
have
lights. Oh, that's gone.
1,800 lights, and you guys can count every last one of them. You know, sometimes you go to grows and people say they got 1,000 lights, and then you go there, it's only 300. Well, you can count all 1,800 here.
My goodness.
So and I would like y'all to count them so that way y'all can believe us. So you know, we basically sitting on 7 acres, and we have another plot, as you see outside. There's another 22 acres outside, which we will put more buildings on. Our goal is to have so much cannabis that, you know, that we can supply any and everybody in the state of California.
Nice.
That's our goal.
Well, with that amount of space and that amount of cannabis, I would say something I definitely suggest is to know some really good lawyers.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes, yes.
Tuning in live, fresh out of actually defending a good word. Welcome, guys.
I might need your help.
Hopefully you won't need our help.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like that's the only job who says that.
You know what not to do, right? You know to shut the fuck up.
Always. Shut the fuck
Yes.
up Fridays. Shut the fuck up Fridays.
So it's, remain silent. Don't let them search you. What's the other third? There's like another. There's
It's a 25-word script that you should already know.
Okay.
What's the
that?
25-word
Shoot-
script?
shoot
You know the script?
Me? Anybody? Does
No.
anybody else care?
Nobody?
No,
I do.
You're lucky we're
Nobody
not
knows.
there. You're lucky we're not there. We'd have to rain out.
Smoke all these whole joints as punishment.
Educate us. Let us know.
So this is what we do every Shut the Fuck Up Friday and the script review. Big brother, what do you say when the cops first pull you over?
Now, mind you, this is the last 25 words you will ever say to the police.
Okay.
Start again.
What do you say when the cop first comes up to you after he pulls you over and he says, "Hey, what's that smell in your car, punk?
Why'd you pull me over?
Wise guy, I pulled you over because you were speeding. Now where's the smell coming from?
I'm not discussing my day.
I don't care about your day. You're a drug dealer. Is it in the trunk? Tell me where it's at or I'm taking you to jail."
Am I being detained or am I free to go?
Well, you're being detained. Get out of the car.
Sir, I invoke the fifth, and I shut
Shut
the
the
fuck up.
fuck up after that.
And never consent to a search, no matter what they say.
And
no matter
always
what
film
they
the
do.
police.
That doesn't mean get in the way of them, because they can ultimately do what they want to do, but you cannot give them consent. If you give them consent, then anything they did wrong to get in your car, we cannot argue in court to get the case dismissed based on their bad conduct. So never consent, and always use those 25 words. Never discuss your day with the police, and you're going to keep yourself a lot safer. And
Always film the police.
and always film the police, if possible.
What if they tell you not to?
What you
You're
do.
not-
Hold on, let me get this. Here's what you do when you're
Mark, why
driving.
don't you take that?
When you're driving in your car, you want to have your camera mounted right on the dash, pointed at the window of the driver's side, so it is right there. When you get pulled over, the lights come on, you hit record. You don't want it in your hand, because if you get handcuffed, it's gone and coming out of your hand. So you want it up there, or even sitting on your seat, just recording. Some of the most important thing is the audio that these cops say, and then we catch them lying later. So you don't want the phone in your hand, because the cops will then take it. So it should be mounted or on your seat.
But so people know.
If it's mounted, can they technically not take it?
Well, let me just throw this in there, that especially in California and most other states, and we're only in California, and that's the only law we can comment on, is that as long as you're not interfering with the police, you can film them. So you want to be at if you're the one doing the filming of an incident, or your friend or whatever, as long as you're not interfering, they can yell and scream to turn it off. And if you got the guts and you're not interfering with them, you just keep filming. And that's not illegal.
So what's the best way to get your license and registration and your insurance out your car without them shooting you?
Have that
Well,
on, we
all
have
right,
that
so
on pat.
yeah, here's the recommendation. Before you start to drive off, like you're at home or where you're in your car, you've not drive off, go into your wallet, get your ID, go into your glove compartment and get your insurance, and then maybe in your center consoles where you keep the registration. Everybody keeps these vital documents in different areas. Get them all together, clip it right to your visor. So then when the time comes, your hands go from the steering wheel to the visor, and you're not reaching or doing anything. So it's called preparation before you drive, ways to minimize your exposure and risks of getting cops to shoot you when you start reaching for things.
Correct.
So that's how you want
Okay,
to
makes
take care of
sense.
that.
Terrible that we have to prepare to be pulled over.
Okay,
Yeah. Safety tricks for being pulled over. 101 for being pulled over safely. You guys, I feel like, should make Pop Brother a law, visor clips where you can put those things into.
Yeah.
We have stickers of the script that go when you get your car serviced and they put that little tag to remind, a little sticker up there. We have decals of the script. We have hashtag STFU bumper stickers. And we have our cards, our business cards, which have the script on the back. And we give that out all the time. We send them across the country. People ask for them. We mail them out. And we tell people to keep it in your wallet behind your ID. Read it. I hope you never need it. But it'll be there when you get pulled over. And you're
I think that's a great thing. I think that's a great thing you guys do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
always
need
have
one of
just
those.
tricks in your
Yeah,
back
trying
pocket.
to make this world a little safer. And we've heard we've probably heard more good stories than any bad stories about people using the script, because we get it from people all across the country, north, south, east, west. It doesn't matter. We get DMs all the time saying, "Man, I used the script," and maybe that person had something that was in the trunk that it never went that far because they used the script, and it just and we haven't had any where the police have reacted badly, because we get a lot of blowback going, if I say that, I'm getting ripped out of the car. Well, if you say what we tell you to say, you get ripped out of the car, and that's all you've done, you were probably gonna get ripped out of the car anyways by this asshole, and you're gonna have a great civil case if you stick to what we're saying. And just, it's not time. The time to argue with a cop is in court, not at the stop, because you're never gonna win. So just that's why the whole 25 words, you're not going to get into with them. You're not going to discuss your day. You can say that as many times as you feel comfortable before you say, am I being detained? Like, I'm done talking. Detain me. If not, let me go. And they got to make a split-second decision. I pulled them over for a blinker, and I'm trying to run up on him on this, and is this the guy for me to mess with? Because he obviously knows his rights. And he's going to probably, not for sure, because the script isn't meant for you not to get arrested. It's meant to preserve your rights and remedies and defenses later if you should get arrested. And but we've got more people than not just get out of here. And they didn't even get the ticket they were pulled over for. Some have said, oh, you follow the Pot Brothers at law. We've actually had a few people say that. And they let them go because they'll go to the next 10 guys probably who don't know how to assert their rights. And, cops have a field day.
Do they want us to not know our rights?
Absolutely.
Is that kind of?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Because they'll lie to you. They can lie to you about, if you don't do this, I can take you in. If you, we're friends. Just tell me. We had that happen. The guy invoked the fifth, did the script, and at the last second, the guy's like, the second cop, good cop, bad cop really happened. And the good cop came along, and he was all broski, this and that, and blah, blah, blah. Don't worry, you can tell me. I won't tell my partner. And sure enough, he blabs, and, he got arrested and taken in. So you just got to be careful. But, yeah, they can lie to you. Field sobriety test in the state of California, too, if anybody wants further knowledge. Field sobriety test. They pull you over before you're arrested. Touch your nose, walk in a straight line. Those are voluntary in the state of California. If you Google them in your state, most other states are similar, but we cannot comment on other states. But it's voluntary. You can say politely no. Then they have to make a decision on taking you in based on just pulling you over. Nothing you're doing to
Now,
help
what's one of the
you.
worst scenarios you guys saw? Did you hear me? What's one of the worst scenarios you guys saw from one of your from your fan base or anybody else? One of the worst scenarios you saw?
You mean using the script?
Yes.
I don't think we've got one. Mark?
I mean, when you say worst scenario, the worst case scenario, actually recently there was a guy who stuck to the script, shut the fuck up, and they arrested him. They took him in.
8 hours.
And he was in custody for 8 hours. They were drilling him and he shut the fuck up. And then they let him go. He had to spend 8 hours in jail. And then they let him go without charges. Now there are certainly times when officers are going to get aggressive. And like my brother said, by sticking to the script and being calm and polite, if the cop gets out of hand, you're going to have a civil case. So, for instance, we get to I'm not discussing my day, officer, and we get a lot of questions and pushback. If I say that to a cop, if I say I'm not discussing my day, he's going to say, why aren't you cooperating? Why are you being rude? You're disrespectful. Why are you doing this? And so on and so forth. And to that I say, if you say, I'm not discussing my day, officer, and that officer rips you out of the car and starts beating you down, guess what? You could have said, officer, I'm having a popsicle today. Officer, the grass is green over there. It doesn't matter what you say. That particular cop is going to do whatever the fuck they're going to do. And that's why what we're teaching, if you do it, it is designed to flush out those cops who do that, and they will not get away with it. And we're starting to see some accountability. And this is a way to ensure that they will be held accountable because we are taking away the biggest crutch the cops have, which is their right to say, I was afraid for my life. He reached for this. He did that. Whatever. I was afraid for my. That's what they always say after they beat somebody and kill somebody, but no more. If we do this and act this way and say these 25 words, they can't use that, and they're going to be held accountable.
You mentioned them being held in, or like that one was kind of held in a room. What are some of the more like wild scare tactics you've seen, or some of your clients, or like what are some of those kind of scare tactics you've seen them use?
I've heard cops say everything, and like my brother said, they can lie, right? And they will use that. So one of the most outlandish lies was a cop told a guy that you called him on the phone, your grandmother's having a heart attack, you better get here. And he went over to his grandma's house, and they were there waiting for him, and they arrested him on a warrant and all this other shit. So stuff like that. And then, you know, you get pulled over, you have delivery drivers who work for licensed cannabis businesses who are still getting arrested because cops feel like, oh, you're lying, this isn't what you're supposed to be doing. And they'll tell these people, you know, if you don't start talking, you're going to jail for 5 years. You know, it's a federal crime, and they will just make shit up that's not going to happen to scare the shit out of the person in front of them to the point where, okay, I better say something. And that is what we're really fighting against, to teach people you don't have to. It's your right. It's the Constitution. We're in America. You don't have to incriminate yourself. And like we said, the Fifth Amendment is your right to shut the fuck up, period. And you don't have to talk to cops and know that they lie. They lie and they'll say things. And another thing my brother always says, if a cop is talking to you, think, how come he's not arresting me right now? Doesn't have enough. He's talking because he wants you to talk and you to say things that will lead to incrimination and then giving him what he needs to ultimately arrest you because you told on yourself.
I mean, what do you do? You're smoking your joints. You go out in your car and you drive, which I do. I mean, I don't think it's a big deal. I think if you're high and impaired, there's been a time or two where I would not have driven as high as I was. So I think can be responsible. But still, you get pulled over and the cop asks, I smell something. When did you last smoke? What do you say to him?
I'm not telling you about my day.
There you go. Bingo.
Not discussing that day.
Trick is, I know you're a fast learner. That's awesome. But I get into argument with people at bars, and it's like, I'm going to tell them one, or I'm going to tell them none. If you say you had a drink or you had a smoke, doesn't matter if you're DUI or not. They can never prove it, but you're going to jail for a DUI. They don't know what the hell you've done, and it's none of their business. That's why I'm not discussing my day. It's the most polite way to say I'm not answering that question. Without saying I'm not talking to you, I'm not answering, you have no right to ask me this stuff. It's just, I'm not discussing my day. And, and then everyone then, because he doesn't know when you last, if you say an hour ago, a jury could say, yeah, this person smoked an hour ago. There's no evidence. There's no facts, but a jury could say, yeah, that person was probably impaired because of what you said. If you didn't say shit, there's no case, there's no arrest. So.
Was it just like a viral thing, or was it just kind of posted out there for people to get scared that there's going to be like a new breathalyzer for weed?
Yeah, I think it was something to scare.
The cannabis breathalyzer we've been hearing about for a couple years now. They've been throwing. Some places are actually starting to use this swab thing or whatever, and we don't give a shit. There's no scientific evidence. There's no studies. There's nothing. There's nothing that will equate to blood alcohol level 0.08. That is a legal presumption in California that you're impaired to drive, based on decades of testing and science and all sorts of shit. With cannabis, it stays in your system. There's THC, THCA, active THC, carboxy THC, and all sorts of different levels. And when we deal with these cases across California, DAs, whoever makes these decisions in those offices have pulled out of their ass 2 to 4 nanograms in your blood of THC. It somehow means you're impaired. And then that's where they're coming from. When we get DUI cannabis cases, if the client shuts the fuck up and there isn't driving crazy all over the road and all that, which there usually is not, because you just get pulled over, you were profiled, and they say you didn't use your blinker, or there's some traffic violation. So there's no proof of impairment. You didn't do all this shit that's voluntary. You didn't do the on-site breathalyzer. Now, let me say this, in California and in other states you'll have to Google, but as my brother said, on the road before arrest, you don't have to do any of that. But if arrested, you have to do the blood, breath, or urine test, or else the DMV will revoke your license for 1 year under what's called the implied consent law. But that's only if you're arrested. And if you're arrested, we recommend doing the blood, especially for cannabis cases, because we're then going to have our experts take it to our lab, because I don't trust the cops and their shit. And we're going to take it to our lab, and we're going to have it tested. We're going to get a blood split and get it tested ourselves. And if you've shut the fuck up, we have our cannabis expert and drug recognition expert come in to talk about how the nanograms don't equate to any impairment or anything like that. And scientifically, it just cannot be proven. So these tests that they're coming out with, I don't know how they're going to ever have one. Big Brother, what do you think? Think there'll ever be a test that could actually be like the 0.08 in alcohol?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Either you're impaired or you're not impaired.
Well,
so I mean, if someone's impaired and they're driving, it doesn't matter if it's on cannabis or on alcohol or any other drug, you should be taken in because you should not drive impaired, period. So, but what I always go to bat for the stoners or the cannabis users is that if you're that high, you're not going to drive. If you're drunk and you're super drunk, you're going to be, I can drive, as you're all fucked up, taking the keys, thinking you can go drive because you're drunk and stupid. Or you're super, super high and you're going to go, you know what? I'm not driving right now.
I'm going to get some tacos. Thank you very much. It was fun to be here. And next time we'll get into the studio, I guess, and then we'll have some more fun. I love it, and I love educating.
Yeah, absolutely.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
As always, I'm Jordan. I have my girl Tammy.
AKA the Cannabis Cutie. You can find me there on Instagram or my website, thecannabiscutie.com.
My girl Steph.
See you later, guys, and check me out at _Stephanie Cakes _ Thanks for having me.
Carlos, it was a pleasure.
Appreciate it. You can find us at superbad.inc and also on the website, which is superbadinc.com.
Bye. It was a pleasure. All right, guys. Always make sure to tune into Social Club TV every week to watch Field Trip. Thanks for tuning in.
And get high shit. Yeah, yo. Turn up and let's fly, bitch.